So I will start with a few invocatory shlokas. By that time, you can think what we are supposed to. I mean, questions, or it need not be questions on what aspect you want illumination. So after the shloka, I will ask. Namo Namaste Gurave Mahatmani Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya Nityadvayananda Rasaswarupine Bhumne Sada Pardayam Budhamne Namaste, Namaste, Vibho Vishwamurte. Namaste, Namaste, Chidanandamurte. Namaste, Namaste, Tapoyogagamya. Namaste, Namaste, Shrutijnanagamya. Namaste, Namaste, Tapoyogagamya. Namaste, Namaste, Shrutijnanagamya. Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Bhavat Kripa Shri Mahima Prasadat Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmani Namo Namaste Stu Punarnamostu Namo Namaste Stu Punarnamostu Namo Namaste Stu Punarnamostu Namastasmai Sadaikasmai Kasmai Chinmahase Namaha Yadetad Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate Yadetad Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. Hari Om Tat Sat. Tell me, what are we supposed to discuss?
Hello. Namaste, Swamiji. I actually had a question prepared. So I'm going to just ask that. Actually, one of in the tomorrow's class, Bhagavad Gita class, we are going to deal with the 17th chapter, where Lord Krishna talks about tapas. He talks it from the angle of Kaika tapas, Vachika tapas, and Manasa tapas. And if you could talk about all three, it would be nice. But my special request was for Manasika tapas, because he says, Manaprasada Saumyatvam, Mauna Matma Vinigraha, Bhava Samshuddhirityetat, Tapo Manasamuchyate. So he describes 5 features for Manasa tapas. So I was hoping you could expand a little bit.
I will do, but you have to practice it.
Yes, I want some practical sadhanas that we can practice and cultivate in our daily life. Thank you.
This is a fundamental topic, so I will do. Any other questions anybody has, then I will try to club it in the exposition itself. If you have any particular inquiry, you can tell me. I will put it inside.
And following that also, I also had a question about, almost similar to that, about titiksha, how we can practice titiksha. since you are a sannyasi, that probably is one of the first values you would have mastered. So if you can give us some hints on that too.
Namaste Swamiji, and if you can tell something about the most commonest psychiatric issue is anxiety. So Bira. So if you can give us some guidelines.
That I did that day in the Bhagavad, what is that? Moksha and Bhagavad Gita. I have covered it quite well. No?
Yes,
Is it not?
You did.
But it will help if we can get some practical tips on how to overcome fear. Other than associating our thought process to body-mind complex versus art. I mean, in theory,
We will do it.
And also, Swamiji, if you can just talk about religion and spirituality, just some basic. We have different. We are all from different. We are all in different stages of our lives. So if we can talk about religion and spirituality, if you can summarize the whole thing, Swamiji, that would be helpful too.
All these things doing will take the whole night. Will you sit that long?
Namaste, Swamiji. I have a particular question, and this stems from the fact that I teach spiritual things, Tamil spiritual thing at temple, and I come from a place where I deal with a lot of atheistic thinking as well. And one of the things that gets thrown at my face quite often is the reference to caste system.
Huh?
Caste system. In Bhagavad Gita, specifically references to verses 42, 43, 44 in chapter 18. So I would like to have your interpretation of how we need to approach that.
This one I have spoken in great detail. Particularly the whole 18th chapter, it is there in the YouTube.
Okay.
So I would like you to go through because it cannot be explained in such short. The only one thing I want to clarify, Bhagavad Gita has not spoken about caste system.
It does not.
It speaks about Varna. Varna means the color. That means no two human beings are same. Each has got his own characteristic qualities. So that they have tried to make a very broad category by dividing it into 4 kinds of characteristics, 4 varnas. And that is also based on the 3 guna tattva. Everything is based on model. The whole nature functioning on the sattva, rajas, tamas. So with these 3 combination you can have 4. The sattva followed by rajas, followed by tamas. Rajas followed by sattva, by tamas, rajas followed by tamas, sattva. Like that, whatever permutation you can have is 4 castes. So this 4 and the 3, they are related models. And they more or less broadly classify everything. Now that is the varna, means some people have some characters. Some are given to research, studies, etc. Some are given to physical work, very hard working. Some are given to very good in seva, business. Some are given to fighting and ruling, the administrative qualities. So according to that, it has been divided. Now there, when you see the 18th chapter, I would like you to go through it. It's very interesting because although Bhagavad Gita has spoken about Varna, you can yourself think that what will happen? Suppose a musician, in his life, will he not like to get married to a musician, or at least who appreciates music, who has some musical tendencies and all? A person who is a scientist or a research, something of a very high academic, will he marry a laborer working in the construction? Normally not. In exceptional cases it might be, otherwise normally not. They will pick up a person who is more or less compatible with the characteristics. Now suppose one musician gets married to another musician, what will be the children? Automatically their happy probability of becoming adept in music will be more. If it continues for 2-3 generations, then great musicians will be born in that family. So although we are saying Varna, this Varna will automatically become like caste system, Jati. That caste means Jati. Varna means the characteristic qualities or color. Whereas Jati means by birth. So although we are saying the characteristics are defining the categories, when it continues in this manner, the marital relationships and further generations and generations, it automatically becomes by birth. And there lies the problem. After that, what will happen? Anybody becoming musician because of his characteristics but not belonging to this category will be looked down upon. That is what used to happen. I would like all of you to listen to this 18th chapter. It has been explained, I have done it with a lot of passion there, that what are these varnas in Bhagavad Gita ultimately take us to. And a knower is the Parakashta, is the ultimate peak of all the 4 varnas together. That is, one is excellence in thinking, knowledge. The other one is excellence in protecting, ruling. The third one, actually I have a little layer about business. Truly speaking, business means sharing. So real business is based on love. Without the business sharing, we would not have had our dresses or our food. Nothing can be possible. The whole society is living because of the sharing being done by the traders and business people. So it is basically the seva quality. And the fourth one is really seva. That is, the Shudra characteristics are meant for working for others, who can save for, they can serve others like that. So we always say that the knower, he is very much given to knowledge. The administrator, the real administrators in our country, you will find the Rajarshis, Raja Rishi. That means they were knowers. Why? Because the Raja's job is so difficult. He has to, it's not like today that for 20 years the court will go on through High Court and Supreme Court and then the jailers will punish. Raja has to take the decision right there, asking his ministers, and if he has to be given capital punishment, right there the Raja has to give the order. So it was very difficult for them. The Raja generally, they were good Rajas. So if a good person becomes a king or a ruler, for him to punish people becomes a real difficulty. Normal, a Sattvika mind will not be able to do it. They will be penalized so much, there will be so much suffering because of that. Somebody they have to reward, somebody they have to punish. Without that, the Raja cannot do anything. So in Yoga Vasishta, you will find there are a lot of stories like that. The 2 Rajas, they could not remain a king because they were so much hurt by whatever they had to do. So they walked off. Then after some time, one person is coming back and finding that his friend has again become a Raja. So he is asking that, how did you do it? You had left kingdom because you could not survive, could not practice this. Then he says, he gives the message to his friend that I had gone away, I met such a such Rishi, and it is how that the knowledge is given, that the knowledge is a transcendental knowledge which will allow you to punish without getting overwhelmed by the sinfulness of it. You can reward, you can punish, nowhere getting associated. Last day also in Bhagavad Gita I said that the moksha is that is the Jivan Mukti, that so many kings, our country was ruled by so many Rajarshis, not only Janaka we hear, but the whole Raghuvamsha, if you find, one after another, they were all knowers, great knowers of truth. So he is now giving the knowledge that by that you can transcend all this sukha, dukkha and everything, and you will be able to work as, you will be able to punish also people. Just like Arjuna had to kill his own grandfather, the most beloved grandfather, the most respected teacher. How did he do it? The same knowledge had done it. So this caste system actually finally takes us to a point where the truth is exposed, that each individual has a definite, unique relationship with divinity. I will explain it to the extent possible in this short time, that no two individuals are same. Everywhere they are different. Now, Arjuna asked that Kim Adhyatmam in 9th chapter or so. No? So Krishna is replying there, Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate. Why? It is very much related to 18th chapter, because there Swadharma, Swakarma, Swabhava, everything is discussed. There he has discussed spirituality. Spirituality means in Sanskrit it is Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma Vidya means spiritual knowledge. So he says, Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. The Swabhava is called spirituality. What is this Swabhava? It has two aspects. One is Swabhava. Swa means our own real self, which is our real identity. That is the Atma, or you can call Brahman also, it is the same as that. As Atma, it has no variety, nothing. It is not an object that it will have different color or different anything. The Atma is only the revealer of the entire world. It doesn't have any of the properties of the world. It is neither Karta nor Bhokta. It cannot enjoy anything, it cannot do also anything. It only reveals everything. The whole tremendous activities taking place in this universe, it is all based on the consciousness. The substratum is consciousness. The consciousness only reveals. It doesn't get affected by anything, doesn't get involved in anything. So that Swa, which is our real identity, that is same for everybody. If you realize yourself, I realize myself, there is no difference, because self is not body-mind limited. The self is the same self which is expressing through different body-mind personalities. So as far as suppose Ramakrishna Dev and Vivekananda, both in their realization of the truth, absolutely identical, because there is no personal characteristics in the self. It is just the consciousness, nothing else. But there is another part in the Swabhava, that is this Swa, which is identical and uniform for everybody. That Swa is getting expressed through a body-mind personality. And when it is expressed through the body-mind personality, it takes the quality of each personality. Suppose you look at the work done by Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Dev, is not poles apart. In their realization, they are identical. But otherwise they are poles apart. Even in our case also, Gangadhara Paramahamsa, our Gurudev, he was a sedentary person. He did everything, but finally when we saw him, he was in the same room, staying always in the same room. Whereas our Swamiji is running around over the whole world, always active. So it completely depends on the personality, that how the self-knowledge will express through the personality. And in that, when a knower who has realized the self, he is acting, he is engaged in his activities, in that he has his unique relationship with the self. Is it not? Because each activity performed through each body-mind personality is different. But those who are knowers, whatever they are doing, it is the expression of the self, pure expression of the self. The problem comes is with our desires. In all Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita also, that we try to become unnatural. We don't follow our natural characteristics. So nowadays, even if somebody is given very much to music, he will take to IT. So, this is actually where we lose our perfection also. Why India became at one time So great in its art, in its music, uncomparable in its poetry, the kind of rhythms are there, so many kinds of rhythms. Everything, even science, medical science, astrology, astronomy, everything is written in poems, poetry. Nowhere in the world it is available. It is only in Sanskrit. If we look into the Sanskrit language, it is amazing. Even now I want all of us to... There is a book by Sampadananda Mishra from Aurobindo Ashram, which is The Wonder That Sanskrit Is. We need not know Sanskrit. If we just carefully, a little with some interest, read the book, it is amazing that what the language can do and what they have done. So, in carpentry, in Shilpa Shastra, like the temples they have built, even now people do not know. In some cases, metals, in sculpture, in music, in dance, in theatre, everywhere, in Shastras, we need not say at all, Kalidasa and all, thousands of years pass, but still it is there. Even in the Upanishads, how many thousands of years, we don't know, still existing in the same form. So how this magnificence, the excellence in each was obtained is because they remain in their natural characteristics and they took that characteristics to the height, to the maximum possible height. And there the caste also played a great role, very great role they have played. But now in the present day you cannot say it because people will start threatening you. But actually it has its role because this varna, it will automatically change into a caste, and if you keep to your, for a few generations, you will find that excellence is already coming. In Bengal and the East Bengal, now Bangladesh, they were Dhakai muslin, you must have known, the kind of cloth which was being prepared. They had presented to Queen Victoria. And how? It can be passed through a small ring finger. Another interpretation, they say it was put in an elaichi cover or so, whatever. It can become very small is the main thing. Now when the queen saw it, she immediately understood that if this art is allowed to progress, then we will not be able to sell our mill products there. So he ordered all the weavers, their thumb should be cut off. And it was done. It was done. It got completely disappeared from me. And they promoted all the mill products and all. It is a known story. So when the independence movement started, many of the leaders, they were burning foreign goods. Anyway, our point is that this swabhava, it has got two. One is that the identical self in everybody. The other is that self, when it manifests through the body-mind personality without the corruption of any greed, desire, selfishness, etc., which takes us away from the natural. Why I am saying, you see the whole nature is playing there. The plants are growing, the flowers are blossoming, blue flower, small flower, grass flower, big flower. Each is equally beautiful. It is our problem that we find something big, so it is very beautiful. We don't appreciate the grass flower because our mind is distorted. You look into the grass flower, take it, it is not less beautiful than a big rose. So the whole nature, the earth going around the sun, the moon going around the earth, the plants are growing, the flowers are blossoming, the sea is constantly maintaining the cycle of rain, and unless the evaporation takes place, it will not happen. If the sea becomes selfish like us, no, I will not give the vapor to the sun. What will happen? Rivers will also not come, nothing. The whole cycle will be disturbed. So the whole nature is working like as per Bhagavad Gita. It is a jajna of the universal Lord, because there is no desire or greed anywhere. It is naturally taking place. So, in that jajna, if human beings who are also a product of nature, should we not work and contribute in that jajna of the universal Lord? Whatever we are doing, if we do it without desire, it becomes jajna. Here also, the other day I was saying the excellence of Bhagavad Gita, that normally jajnas are done with a desire. the Vedic yajnas, we always do, there is a result, reward given at the yajna, that you will go to this heaven, that heaven, or you will have this kind of children. Every yajna has got some reward. And if you are not interested in the reward, will you do the yajna? Nobody will do, because we are interested in going to heaven, because whatever we are enjoying here, we are not satisfied with that. So after death also I should enjoy. And that is how the heavens are pictured. In Kathopanishad you will find in the heaven there is no thirst, no hunger, because we are not satisfied with whatever we are eating. Like an elephant, if we eat, we will be more satisfied perhaps. So, but we don't think that if there is no thirst, no hunger, we have lost the main joy of life. Drink and food, both joy will not be there. If you don't have hunger, will you enjoy food? If you don't have thirst, will you enjoy even water? But they are creating a delusion that the heaven where there is no thirst, no hunger. Nachiketa is saying about it. So in Vedas, the yajnas are particularly done with the aim of having some fulfillment of desire, either in this world or in after death, something like that. Nobody can verify after death what happens, but with that greed we are doing. Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, the yajna concept has been completely inverted. That the yajna is going on in the whole universe. It is a sacrifice. It's a natural sacrifice, means it is promoting the fundamental law, the fundamental harmony of nature. So if we can also, with our activities, we can contribute to this fundamental harmony of nature, without our desire interfering, without our selfishness, greed interfering there, then that becomes the yajna. So yajna is not only having a homakunda and having some material sacrifice. In Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do as without desire, as a contribution to the universal Lord, it becomes a yajna. The whole cycle is also explained. Everything is very well explained in Bhagavad Gita. I don't have to explain now. So, what I was saying, that swabhava is that one is uniform to everybody, that is the self, the consciousness, which is same as Brahman. There is no difference in self realized by A, B, C, nothing. All self-realization will be the same. But when this realization is expressed through a body-mind personality, that will take the characteristics of the personality there. That is also swabhava. So to take to swabhava, we have to be freed of the desires, greed, etc. Then it becomes the swakarma. That is why paradharma bhayavaha. Why? Because out of greed, out of selfishness, we are leaving our natural characteristics and going to, if he had allowed Arjuna to go to as Arjuna was proposing, go to the forest and do meditation and bhikshavritti and all. Would it have been nice? Because there Arjuna will not be able to meditate, because 14 years he has focused on Duryodhana and war. On the other hand, whatever he had shown as a ruler, administrator, fighter, warrior, that also would have been missed. So, why did I speak about Swabhava? You had asked about caste and all from there. So, the whole thing is to Swabhava, we should take to our Swabhava. One Swabhava is the self. Another is whatever our natural karma, natural characteristics of our personality, we should not be deviated from that. And that becomes the surrender also. I will not go into the detail. But if you listen to the 18th chapter, many things are very clearly explained there. Shall I go over to your point now?
Please. Thank you.
Now, is there anything I have missed here? No. Whatever you asked. Saji, what did you say? No, you said about religion and all. Now, since I have mentioned that adhyatma, svabhavo adhyatma muchyate, that is spiritual knowledge is adhyatma vidya. There we have, that Saji's question also can be answered, that we start with religion, where we start with a belief. I have my Ishtadeva also, that faith is there, and with that we practice. we do worship, we do various other things also, never questioning anything. We just follow it, thinking that it will take me whatever we want, that I will get my desired things or so, or whatever, that will follow. Now, the spirituality or Adhyatma Vidya starts when we start questioning our faith and belief. That I have been worshipping for so many years, 40 years, like this or like that. Have I progressed in anything? What has happened? Have I come nearer to that God or further from that God? We never question that. We go on doing whatever we are doing in the evening or so, and mantra and so, and come back. But when the question comes that, well, I have been worshipping God for such a long time, but that, whatever I am thinking about the God, is it existing something or is it not? If at all he exists, then what kind it is? Can anybody see him or realize him, or is there any way of directly knowing him? All these questions, when it comes in our mind, then that enquiry starts. And that enquiry takes us to look within. Because then we find that I am the seer of the world. The ultimate absolute answer to my question doesn't lie in the world, because it is infinite regression. Whatever we may find the origin of the world, we will find where from did it come. Again you find something, where from did it come. Logically, this causal logic can never take us to the ultimate absolute cause at all. So then the question comes, if we cannot find the absolute truth or absolute cause, the ultimate cause in the world, in the universe, where should I look for it? Naturally, what I have not considered so far is the I, the observer. We have never inquired into it. So they started inquiring into I, and that is how they discovered the real identity of what we are saying. So from religion to spirituality, the first step is to questioning our faith, and then that automatically leads us to looking within. So the entire Adhyatma Vidya is based on looking within. We no longer look for the solution in the world. We look for the solution in our perception of the world. That is how we find the Panchabhuta. Panchabhuta is not existing in the world. It is because we have 5 senses. So these 5 elements are never going to change as long as we have 5 senses. Suppose we develop 2 more senses, one electrical, one magnetic or something. Then Panchabhuta will become Saptabhuta. But because we have 5 senses, our world perception, whatever the world is, what we are knowing is our perception of the world. We are not seeing the molecules, or if there are molecules at all. We are not able to see that. What we are seeing is whatever perceivable by our sense organs. There we are inferring using some instruments and all. Suppose we use a cloud chamber and there we are seeing a trail of something. From there we are saying that this is electron, this has got the negative charge, or positron, it has got the positive charge. All these are inferences. Directly what we are seeing is these 5 senses only. And that is why they are the constitution. Our world is made up of these 5 coordinates only. So the whole purpose of spirituality is to look within into our way we are perceiving the world. From that we are coming to know that whether we are behaving foolishly in the world or intelligently in the world, and what changes we have to make in our personality to become fulfilled. That is the ultimate word. That we will not look for anything. Bhagavad Gita says, Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyatena adhikam tataha yasmin sthitona dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. That is, by getting something, we will not look for anything else. That is the ultimate of spirituality. And where if we can get established, even the greatest of the calamity will not be able to destabilize us. Now, anything happening in family or in the country or so, we are getting shaken by that. But if we can establish ourselves in this truth, then nothing in the world will be able to shake us. Gurunapi dukkhena na vichalyate. So spirituality is looking for that truth. By getting established in that, we will become that truth, because that truth is nothing other than we are reading about Atma, listening about Atma, Brahman, but what is that Atma? It is our own identity, is it not? We are reading about Atma is this, Atma is imperishable, it is immortal, na jayate, na mriyate va kadachit, it cannot be burned by fire, it cannot change anything, no change can be there. We are knowing everything about Atma, but the fact is that that Atma is my own identity. So until we are realizing that Atma as my own identity, it remains useless. Whatever we have studied from the Atma, it has to become my own. Then only the realization is coming, and then only all these things becoming true. Yam labdva cha param labham and all. So the ultimate aim of spirituality is to become full. Absolutely nothing that fulfilled. We say, our Baba used to say the Paramahamsa. We generally refer to them as Paramahamsa. Baba's name is Paramahamsa. What is that? Gangadhara Paramahamsa. So Baba used to say, what Gangadhara Paramahamsa? It is great gander. The goose male is gander. He has nothing to do, it's zero. So this is very important, because in second chapter you find that where Krishna has explained the Sankhya very well. Sankhya means the Atma. That Sankhya means which pervades everything. The Atma is something which you can never miss. Without the I, there cannot be any experience, any perception at all. Even in dream, that I will appear, then only you will have the dream. So it is the I is that which is pervading everything. So Sankhya means Samyak Khyayate iti. Sankhya, and from that, about that is Sankhya. So about the truth, Krishna has presented well. Now what did Arjuna say? That, well, you have presented the truth of the Atma. I would like to know what happens to a person when he realizes the Atma. That's a very intelligent question. By knowing the Atma, what will happen? I have to know how a person like me will behave when he knows the Atma. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kim asita brajeta kim. Two parts of the personality. One is when he is in samadhi. What is the state? Because we don't know from outside whether he is sleeping or having jada samadhi or jnana samadhi. Who will know? You have to define the samadhi state. The second one is when he comes out of the samadhi after the Atma Sakshatkara, then will he behave the same way as we are behaving? Or there is a difference? So he becomes Sthita Prajna. That means his buddhi, where the ignorance, these are all very important. Where will the ignorance lie? In the buddhi, which is the understanding. So the buddhi which was having the cloud of ignorance, when that buddhi gets illumined, then what happens to him? So he is called Sthita Prajna. So how will he behave? How will he interact with people? Then Krishna describes all the Sthita Prajna Lakshana is very important because of that it is the knower's characteristic. And for any seeker, those characteristics are to be imbibed to become a knower. So you may not become a knower in the beginning. Nobody is going to become. But you can follow the characteristics which are adorning a knower so that we can come closer and closer to the knower. And closer to the knower means closer and closer to Atma, because that is what our identity is. That is why Krishna repeatedly said, the one who does this, he becomes like me, he comes to me, he becomes like me, he becomes equal to me. All these statements are there because of that. Because in that identity there is no difference. But when in that same identity is expressed as Krishna, through Krishna's personality, through Janaka's personality, through Vasishthadeva's personality, through Vyasadeva's personality, all are absolutely different. Absolutely different. That is their Swadharma. That is how the Swabhava is getting translated into the karma. Is it clear? And the difference between religion and spirituality is this only. So we generally say you started with they are atheist. we say that a God-believing person believes in his concept of God. Somebody believes in Shiva, somebody believes in Vishnu, somebody believes in something else. Even those who are believing in Shiva, in their mind, is it the same Shiva? How will you confirm? He has his own concept of Shiva. What he believes in is his concept of Shiva. Similarly, as he is believing in his concept of God, similarly the atheist believes in his concept of no God. It is also a faith, also a belief, he believes in no God. That much only there is difference. But the spiritualist is speaking of the atheist as well as the believer, their own identity. Both are equally existent and identical. There comes a difference with spirituality. So spiritual people have no difference with the atheist at all. No problem with that. No difference, no problem with the atheist. Because it transcends everything.
That's the greatness of Hindu religion.
Huh?
That's the greatness of Hindu religion, right?
Yes. Hindu culture also, which is based on that. You will find in Ramayana and all, wherever there was a sabha or so, Charvakas also were invited. They were given a seat proper. They have never disclaimed them because they will keep the balance. Only when you are questioned, you will come out with you will be careful to know the truth properly. Otherwise, you will speak all trash. See, the quantum mechanics got consolidated because Einstein was not believing in it. Every day Einstein will come back with a new problem which will disprove quantum mechanics. And the others, those who are Heisenberg and others, they will defend it. And by that, quantum mechanics became absolutely firm on its ground because of Einstein's opposition to it. So Hinduism does not decry opposition at all, argument. But it is argument and analysis, not killing others in the name of that you are different, so I will kill you. Now, in the 17th chapter, the 3 kinds of tapas are given, of which you particularly wanted to know the tapo mana samuchyate. 14, 15. My book has got liberated. Devadvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate Anudvega. You want to chant? Shall I do? I will do half like that. Devadvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate Anudvegakaram Vakyam
Anudvegakaram Vakyam
Satyam Priyahitam Chayat
Satyam Priyahitam Chayat
Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva
Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva
Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate
Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate
Manah Prasada Saumyatvam
Manah Prasada Saumyatvam
Maunamatma Vinigraha
Maunamatma Vinigraha
Bhava Samshuddhirityetat
Bhava Samshuddhirityetat
Tapo Manasamuchyate.
Tapo Manasamuchyate.
So here the bodily tapas, then oral tapas, and then mental tapas. So I will now deal with the mental tapas. The other ones will not do. He says, Mana Prasadaha. Mana Prasadaha. Prasada is another term, there is no English. We use the term placidity. It's not just sukha or anything. Why? The difference is what? This prasada or the placidity of the mind, it is equally or at least present in both sukha dukkha. It is like Ananda in Upanishad. The Bhagavad Gita has not used the word Ananda anywhere. It is also a speciality of Bhagavad Gita. They have used Sukham, Atyantam Sukham and Prasada. This Prasada means a contentment of the mind which will keep your mind always cheerful. Cheerful not in the usual sense that you have to always laugh, and it's not like that. Placidity of the mind, I found that is a very close expression. And in dukkha also this placidity will be there. In dukkha, if you get depressed, then the placidity is gone. Dukkha will be there. Otherwise you are becoming a stone. Sukha, dukkha both are applicable. Sukha will be there, dukkha will be there, but sukha you will not be elated. In dukkha you will not be depressed. What is that? Understanding the wholesomeness of the truth, the mind will remain very placid in both sukha and dukkha. Actually in dukkha the mind goes much deeper. The other day, where I don't know, it is in Virginia perhaps, somebody had asked something. I was saying that don't you go to the, suppose there is some film which expresses pathos. Don't you go to see the film and shed tears? Don't you read novels where enough of pathos is there? That one Satyajit Ray's film was there, Pather Panchali. I have seen 6 times, just to go and profusely shed tears. So paying money, we are shedding tears. So can you call that dukkha is a dukkha? The difference is what? The same thing is, if it happens in your family, you will not like it. Then you will be depressed or agitated. But when you are seeing there, your mind is not getting overpowered by the dukkha. You are taking a long shot there. You are taking a detached view. Detached don't want to say. You are taking an impersonal view. Because it is not happening in your... If it happens in my family, then I get overpowered by that. And I am not having that godly vision there. When we are seeing the film, the pathos there, or reading some novel, we are responding to the dukkha. We are not stone. We are responding to the suffering. And the more sensitive we are, the more will be the response. So we will profusely shed tears there. But there is also joy in it, which we call ananda or prasada. That will not go. So mana prasada is a great quality because it will always keep you in that placid state of the mind. So it has a great impact on our daily life because our efficiency is maximum when our mind is contented, cheerful, placid. The moment that, suppose something has happened and we are overpowered by that happening, we get depressed or we get agitated or we start wailing, howling, etc. Then we will not be able to solve the problem there. Those who are getting anxious in the exam and nervous in the exam, they are not able to write properly. That placidity of the mind is very important. Even if we are in a great calamity, we always say that a spiritual person should accept everything that comes as an opportunity. What opportunity? To rise to a higher dimension. We say that the children should be sent to such places where they will see the suffering, have the suffering, they have to sacrifice. Otherwise their personality will not grow. If we bring them up keeping always in a cozy corner and giving him only lollipop and chocolate and all, how will the personality grow? Only when we course through the dukkha, course through difficulties, our personality grows. So if the mana prasada we practice, how will you practice? The moment the face is becoming long, you will not be able to see in the mirror, but in your mind you have to see that the face has become long. That means I am not in the placid state of mind. You remembered this, that no, it is a difficult situation, I will course through it. The moment you take it as a challenge that I will course through it, I will not allow the situation to overpower my mind. Suppose somebody is abusing you, you generally will abuse, return abuse, is it not? But if you can win over your tendency to abuse in return, if you can do it, you'll find a great joy of winning over our lower tendencies will be there. We have a like Buddha's story is there. He became so famous that was the time India was passing through a very low period of spirituality, so to say. That is why Buddha went from ashram to ashram. It is there in Buddha's stories. And he was born in a very cultured, Bihar was the seat of culture at that time. So he went from ashram to ashram, nowhere he could find a solution, his doubts about the dukkha and all. Then finally he said that I will sit under the tree. Till I get the answer, I am not going to get up. That shloka also is very important. So when he became famous, that was the time our Tantrika, that Karmakanda and Tantrika Charcha was at its height. And lot of corruptions everywhere, Bali was going on. Even human Bali was widely practiced, animal Bali and all. Which Buddha got shuddered seeing that if this is religion, I don't want it. So he did his own tapas and he rose to the final nirvana. So people were out to honor him, give him, he had lot of ashrams, they used to call it Jetavana and all, that people used to give the property that you open your ashram here, you open here. So he was moving from place to place. He became very famous. The Tantrika people who were ruling the roost at that time, they got annoyed with Buddha. So once their leader, with Shankaracharya also it had happened, they wanted to take his head. One day one tantric came and started abusing him left and right for quite some time. Now if you suppose scold somebody and he doesn't react, will you not get more agitated? Particularly if it is a partner. I am saying for 10 minutes, you don't listen to it, I am nobody, you don't consider me a human being. Exactly that happened. So after quite some time, Buddha did not respond. So he came out with that, you have become so egoistic that you are not considering me as a human being. You are keeping quiet. Then Buddha came with the reply that dadatu gali mantah bhavantah. That you are giving me gali means abuses. You are giving me gali because you have gali in your stock. In this world, a person can give whatever he has. If he is a rich person, he can give money. If you have gali in your stock, you can give. I have no gali in my stock. How can I give you anything back? Now, here the point is that in this story, what are we to learn? That Buddha was not agitated by the galis and he did not react to the situation. Because he felt that he was confident enough to know that whatever he is saying is not true of me. So if it is not true of me, why should I bother about it? It is his business, let him do. If he has pointed out some fault in me, I should at least thank him and try to correct that. If there is no truth in it, what he is saying, it is his business, why should I get? So we can win over our lower tendencies like this, provided we have that dimension. That we will not be destabilized by anything happening. We will be able to look at it in a scientific manner, that if there is any truth, I will work on it. Otherwise, I will not be bothered by it. So, these stories and all will always help us to have the mana prasadaha. How will the placidity of mind be there? The moment we are losing it, we have to apply this. That, well, Buddha did not lose. Somebody has told something wrong about me. I will think whether actually there is some truth in it, then I should go and thank him and I correct myself. But somebody is saying, blaming something which is not true of me, then why should I worry? So these thoughts should be operating in our mind throughout the interactional period, throughout the day. And that will help us to win over our lower tendencies. We are always slave to the circumstances, is it not so? The moment somebody abuses, if we return abusement, we are slave to the circumstances. As long as they are praising, I am very happy. The moment they point out something negative, even we are also not always able to point out the negative things. They may not like it. So we keep it reserved. So we are always reacting to the situation immediately, whatever is happening according to our egoistic concept about ourselves. So to keep the mana prasadaha, we have to go to that dimension of impersonality, and that anybody should be able to do. Our mind has got unlimited potential in this. For nothing we are getting tense, stressed, overpowered by the situations. Even if the food is one day not proper, so much of Allah gullab. Even the children do that, is it not? Maybe the mother that day prepared something which is favorite of another child, but this child will not accept it. Why have you made upma today? Deepa is making upma. So this is manah prasadaha. Saumyatvam. Saumyatvam has come from soma, from the moon-like. That means it's a very soothing, cooling. That is, if your mind is cool, if your mind has a soothing temperament, the soothing ambience, then anybody coming close to you also will feel that soothing touch. You will find that in Yoga Vasishtha it is written that Vasishtha Deva is asked that how will I know that a person is a knower? There are so many people telling us so many things. How will I know that the person is a truthful person, he is a knower? So Vasishtha Deva says, go and sit before him. If your mind calms down, you can find out. If your mind becomes agitated, then know that that person is agitated. Mind is not constricted by the personality, it has its ambience around. So saumyatvam, that is the cooling sensation in our mind, will spread around also. It will soothe others around such a person. It is also a manasa tapas. That means what? You have to treat the mind always. Manasa tapas means your focus is always on the mind. The moment it is losing prasada, you are bringing it back. The moment it is losing its cooling effect, you try to bring it back there. Maunam. Now here maunam is not just not speaking, because many of the people we have found that those who practice, maunam means silence. If it is not speaking, in our ashram also we see that if you don't speak anything means your inside rattling will go on in a much more, the hundreds of things he will go on thinking. So maunam here as a manasika tapas, when they are saying maunam, it means the silence of the mind, not the put a tape here and keep quiet, not that kind of a maunam. These things always we have to think in that manner, that is, analyze the words where it is applicable. Suppose they are saying sattvika bondage in 14th chapter. So if sattvika, what is sattvika bondage? Jnana and what is that? Sattvika? Sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena janagha. That is, sangha here is to very good things. What is that? One is sangha to sukha, bodha, happiness. Another is sangha to jnana, to knowledge. Both are very good, but that also binds us. So naturally we have to think that if it is a sattvika bondage, that means the jnana should be sattvika jnana. The sukha should be sattvika sukha. It is not the rajasika sukha they are talking about. That will bind a sattvika person. A sattvika person will never be after rajasika sukha. He will never be after rajasika jnana also. So Bhagavad Gita defines what is rajasika, what is sattvika jnana. What is that? Sarva bhuteshu jainaikam bhavam abhyayam ikshate abhibhaktam vibhakteshu tadjnanam viddhi sattvikam. That oneness, the unity in diversity, oneness behind everything, that is the sattvagana, sattvika jnana. So his bondage will be to that also, that if we study about Atma, Brahman and all, we will find that it is creating a bondage, that if somebody calls for some urgent thing, no, I am now meditating. Similarly, sattvika sukha also. What is sattvika sukha? Yadagre vishameva pariname amritopamam. Generally sukhas are not like that. Generally sukhas are immediately pleasant. But Sattvika Sukha, they are saying initially it is almost poisonous. You will not like it. But Pariname, it is like Amrita. Because initially it needs some discipline. If you ask your son to study, initially he will not. But after he has undergone the discipline, he has the freedom in the whole world of literature. You ask him whether he is enjoying it or not. So initially it was Vishamivam, father is every day catching hold of me and putting me to study. But later on, he is getting the whole freedom in the world of literature. So everywhere, why did I say about this Sattvika? Maunam. That Maunam means here not the shutting your mouth. It means shutting your mind, that silence in the mind, not to be constantly distracted with the various desireful thing, fearful thing, anxious thing, etc. Anxieties and all. Atma vinigraha. It is translated as who are suppressing our own tendencies or controlling the tendencies. It is not really control. If the mind is cool, if there is prasada, then you will find that all the senses also are disciplined. They will not run around. So that is part of the Manasika Sadhana, Manasika Tapas, that our senses, our intelligence, everything should be in a disciplined state. The discipline is a much better word. There is no suppression necessary. What is necessary is sublimation, disciplining, not forcefully avoiding. Then comes bhava samshuddhi ityetat tapo manasamuchyate. The last one is bhava samshuddhi. Samshuddhi means samyak shuddhi. That means completely purifying the bhava. Now, there I would like to say that suppose it is a common problem with everybody. Suppose you have a hurting tendency. Particularly people will hurt their own people, either parents or partner, and the children will hurt their parents generally. So suppose you have a hurting tendency. Then but you are a good person, you don't want to be hurting. You want to be good. The moment you speak in a hurting manner and you have hurt somebody, you will think that, oh, again I have done a mistake, I will not do it. You go on thinking like that, it will not be corrected. As long as hurting thoughts are there in your mind, you will end up hurting people. Even if you don't speak also, that thought will hurt them. See, people say ahimsa, ahimsa. In the name of religion, so much of himsa is there. Himsa means aggression, hurting. In the name of religion, as long as people have in their mind this himsa, this hurting tendencies, whether it comes out in the form of religion or caste or state, politics, it will come out in some form or other. What we have to treat is to remove those hurting tendencies, then only the society will become calm. So, you go on thinking. So what I am saying, that hurting tendencies should be eliminated from the mind. So you look into whenever you have behaved in a wrong manner, you look into the mind that what kind of a thought or tendency I had, because of that I have done this. You will definitely be able to find out that you have this kind, either it is something very ahankara, they say ego about yourself, I am always correct, I am always correct. I don't want to listen to anybody. Such people in the director board, such people will be there. If anybody else says something, he will walk out. Ego. There are so many things. So in the mind itself, those tendencies are there. We have to treat at that point, not on the behavioral point. That is the causal point. Behavior is the effect. From the cause, the effect is getting born. If the thoughts are the cause and the behavior, the action is the effect. So to change the action, we have to work at the causal level, is it not? Suppose you want to change the course of a river, say Ganges we want to change. If you try to push it at the Ganga Sagar where it is meeting the sea, will it be possible? You go to the Gomukha and the one stone through which it comes, if you turn the stone, then the Ganges will flow in another direction. So source point, which is a cause, where all changes will be best in the causal level. So go to the cause, try to change there. There also you will find an helplessness that the wrong thoughts are coming to the mind. What can we do? Finally you will say that I have tried so much, but the thoughts are coming, according to that I am behaving. So go to the further depth, go to still a low fundamental causal level, where from the thoughts are coming. Let us call it a mindset. We have some tendency. A selfish mind will give rise to selfish thoughts. A liberal mind will give rise to liberal thoughts. A loving mindset will give rise to loving thoughts. An aggressive mindset will give rise to aggressive thoughts. Is it not so? So the treatment has to be applied in that causal level, the mindset itself. That is, whatever, if I am constricted, if I am aggressive, if I am egoistic, try to treat at that level. That is what we do in spirituality. What do? We have made a concept. Even if Atma doesn't exist, this remains valid. Atma is, but even if it had not existed, this technology would have been valid. We have created an Atma which is absolutely impersonal, impartial, never gets affected, loves everybody equally, embraces the whole universe. Such an Atma, if we interact with, that means you are reading Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishad or Shastra and you are thinking about Atma. What will happen to your mindset? Whatever two things interact, the quality of one will go to the other, is it not? A ball is standing, another ball comes and hits it. The energy goes to that, the standing ball starts moving. So if we are interacting with Atma, the concept of Atma with certain qualities, by constant interaction those qualities will be imbibed by my mind. Suppose you read books where very noble thoughts, liberal thoughts are there. Will not your mind also become a little liberal? If you always read books where only this terrorism and other things are going, that is what is happening to the children also, seeing films, seeing that. So the practice there is, although it is a manasa tapas, but you have to interact with things which will make your mindset liberal, affectionate, loving, all-embracing, having always the wholesome picture in mind. And that is what we are doing in spirituality, that constantly we are interacting with the concept of the Atma, which is universal. So by interacting, our mind will become liberal, universal. So such a liberal mind will give rise to liberal thought. Those liberal thoughts will be taking shape of the liberal action also. So is it not a complete wholesome? That is why they are saying samshuddhi, samyak shuddhi. The mind has to be purified from its very basic state, mindset, let us say. That means emotions. All the emotions will get purified. So once it is done, you don't have to think of that I did it wrong, that day I did it wrong. It will not be there. Your mind is already pure. Whatever you do will be fine. No question of looking into the action and doing vichara on that. It is not necessary. If you do it from the pure mindset, then whatever do, it has its own value. You are not doing from a selfish point of view or from an aggressive point of view. This is what the sadhana is. Satisfied? That is what I have been telling now.
It's like you're trying to replace the thought, right? You've got to keep it at every point.
No. You always do good things. Go to the people who are suffering, serve them a little. People with whom you have enmity or you don't like them, go and find out their good qualities, try to appreciate them. If you tell me a little more detail, what I can tell you.
Whenever we read about something, we say, do yoga, do meditation, do
होगा नहीं, खाली वो करके होता नहीं. विचारा विचारा तीक्ष्णतामेत्य धीहि पश्यति परम पदम दीर्घ संसार रोगस्य विचारो hi mahaushadam. What is vichara? This introspection, analysis and incorporating the correction within the buddhi. Because everything is coming from a wrong understanding of the buddhi. He says vicharat, by this constant introspection, looking into our mind and setting it right. Vichara tikshnatam dhihi pashyati param padam. What happens to the buddhi is the buddhi is constantly getting purified by this process, by the vichara. Becoming sharp, becoming subtle, becoming pure. So the buddhi is undergoing a transformation. And what is this Atma, the ultimate level? That it has to appear in the buddhi. Now our Atma is something distant. We have a something Atma remaining here and there. That has not come to the buddhi. So the buddhi constantly thinking of the Atma, thinking of the truth, let us say, not Atma even. Thinking of the truth, thinking of the wholesome view. The buddhi is becoming refined, purified, uniformized. By that, what is happening? The buddhi is becoming like the Atma. The mind is becoming like the Atma. So he says, Tikshnatam etya dhihi pashyati parampadam. That ultimate God realization or whatever, it is seen not by the eyes. God is never to be seen by the eyes. It has to be seen by the buddhi. So it is called Ikshana. Bhagavad Gita in other places they have Ikshate, in Upanishad also. Ikshana means it is a vision of the buddhi. The buddhi gets purified and the God, the concept of whatever the truth is there, it dawns in the buddhi. Dirgha samsara rogasya. That samsara means we generally say the worldliness. Samsara has come from samyak sarati iti samsara. That means which is based on always drifting. This world will not be there if there is not a change. Always it is, the whole creation is based on drifting. So this whole world is actually constantly drifting. So world will remain the world. But when the world as perceived by our mind, we call it worldliness. Our focus should be always on that, not the world. We don't have to do anything with the world. We cannot do anything with the world. The worldliness in the mind can be treated. Dirgha rogasa means a never-ending disease called worldliness. Vicharo hi mahaushadam. The great medicine is this vichara. Because this vichara will install the ultimate unity in diversity, the one wholesome truth in the buddhi. And once it is in the buddhi, it will guide the mind properly, and the mind will guide the senses properly. We will become an integrated personality. There won't be any internal clash also. The senses wanting to do something, the mind says no. Mind wanting to do something, intelligence says no. Everything will be integrated. We will go smoothly. We call it in Yoga Shastra, it is called klesha. There won't be any klesha. Klesha means clash. There won't be any clash between the buddhi and the mind, or the body and the mind. There will be a complete, smooth integration. So, vichara tikshnatam dhihi pashyati param padam dirgha samsara rogasya vicharo hi mahaushadam. It's from Yoga Vasishta. I have a question. On कीजिए. Hello. A little volume.
Hello. Hello. So I just recently came to know that there is the Smritis and we have Vedas and Upanishads, and then we have the Slokas. So how
have what?
We have the Vedas and Upanishads. They are called Shrutis, and we have the Smritis, which are the slogans. Now my question is, can chanting of slogans written by like Lalita Sahasranamam, it says like it's written by Hayagrivar. Chanting of like Lalita Sahasranamam, Vishnu Sahasranamam, or different slogans written by Adi Shankaracharya, can this help in the spirituality as well as knowing about the Vedas and Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. So my main question is, because I was raised in a family where we chant slogans every day. So by constantly chanting slogans, can we reach the same spirituality?
See, it is very clear. The spirituality means where will the change come? Tell me.
Only when you ask questions in your mind.
No.
Yeah.
Forget that. Where is the ajnana sitting? Buddhi, mind, emotion. These are the places where it is sitting.
Yes.
Sitting.
Yes.
So the change has to come there. Now, if you chant Shankaracharya shloka also without understanding the meaning, will the change come in the buddhi? You will get some peace of mind.
Yes.
You will get some strength of the body also you may get by Vishnu Sahasranam, because it introduces, the meter is such that it introduces the pranayama in our body. Vishnu Sahasranama particularly.
Yeah.
Lalita Sahasranama also.
Yes.
So they have a certain force to make our mind disciplined, orderly, to make our life also disciplined, orderly. People may get various material benefit also through that, because when the mind becomes orderly, naturally we will be functioning very well. So that has got its role in all those cases. But if you want freedom from the ignorance, you have to chant it with the meaning in your mind. And there the chanting can be a great sadhana. Because this knowledge, just before we started, some shlokas were being played. We have recorded all these shlokas only to have the jnana sadhana. All of them are speaking about the truth. So if you put your mind there, your mind will be automatically taken to illumination that way. But without the activation of the buddhi, that is the not only meaning, the bhava has to be there. Only meaning will not do. Then the intelligence will know the meaning. The meaning to be known with the emotional association. That is very important. That is the bhakti part of it. We say bhakti. Actually, bhakti for a knowledge practitioner also, bhakti is absolutely important. He is reading the Shastras, he is reading about Atma, he is reading about Brahman, but no association with his emotion. Such a jnana is not a jnana, that is only theoretical. So when we understand with the buddhi and retain it with our whole being, our emotional part of our being, then it becomes really powerful and it transforms us. So chanting can be a very good aid for such, provided you focus on the meaning and the emotional association. When you are saying, Akashavalle pavidura goham, you go on saying like a parrot, what will happen? Nothing will happen. If you at the same time think that I am like the sky, I am like the space, untainted like the space, will not your mind grow to that dimension with the emotional association? If you say, that can become a mantra even, that when we are saying asangoham, asangoham, asango means I am not getting tainted by anything, unattached. I am not affected by anything happening. You can simply, one word is sufficient, that you don't have to chant the whole shloka. Just go on chanting asangoham, 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 you will become asanga. With the meaning in mind, with the emotional association that I want to become, have a sky-like mind, a spatial mind, where I will not be affected by anything. Let them come, whatever comes, let them come, whatever goes, let them go. Let everything go and come, like the sea, apuryamanam achala pratishtham. I will accept whatever comes, I will allow anything that wants to go. So that dimension, asangoham dimension is that. That anything going, we only cling to that and start going there. Anything coming, we try to hold on that. If that goes, you allow things to come and go. Sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. Apuriyamana machala pratishtham samudra mapaha pravishanti yadvat. Tadvat kamaha yam pravishanti. Sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. Those who are running after the desireful objects, they will never have peace. Peace cannot be attained by running after desireful objects. But who allows all the objective perceptions, whatever comes, he allows them. Whatever goes, he allows that also. He attains peace. So chanting is fine, but chanting has to be done in a proper manner with the, not only with the meaning, with the emotional association also.
My next question is,
Have you, has it gone into you?
Yes.
Then only next question will come.
No, the time is short, so that's why.
No, but time should be long to absorb, and you have to actualize the reply.
So what I have understood is, like mere chanting, it might give some material benefits, and like the order of the mind, but you have to understand in both your mind and intellect, and for it to help in spirituality.
No, you have missed the main point, the emotional association.
Okay, emotional.
Otherwise, you will remain a dry, theoretical
person. Okay. My second question is, can you suggest any powerful slokas?
So many, all the slokas are powerful. This, you would like to chant this Akashavallapa Viduragam, it's tremendously powerful. You can go into the meditation from that. In our recording, it is there towards the end.
Okay.
This is not available in the website, or? So it is right in the beginning, I think, it's there.
No,
Our website has got it.
No, apart from Bhagavad Gita.
Apart from?
Bhagavad Gita.
It is not Bhagavad Gita totally, it is Shankaracharya's.
Okay.
Viveka Chudamani. Is it not?
Okay.
There are others also from Abadhuta Gita. It is the next one to this in the recording is from Abadhuta Gita.
Okay.
Shuddham Vishuddham. Shuddham Vishuddham. Abhicharam. Anantarupam. It's all there in beautiful tune. If you listen to it for 1 hour, you will get liberated.
Really? So, can your disciples print out those slokas?
It is there in the website. Why don't you give the bhumananda.org?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about the. This is there.
Yeah.
Anything else, anybody?
You mentioned like when we wanted to understand somebody's view, so we have to, like, for example, if I am not liking somebody, what they are doing, then I need to understand why they are doing. This is about parenting. So when a child doesn't listen to us, then we can think like maybe like they don't want to do it. And can I just think like maybe they're not capable or they don't want to do it. If I keep thinking from their perspective and let them continue, am I doing a good parenting?
See, here 2 points, if you remember, you can apply to in your own life. One is that always for the children or anybody, so to say, always approach from the point of view of wisdom. Don't say anything, do this, do that. You only tell, if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. And it is for him to accept or not accept. That is your approach. For that you need that manaprasadaha. Otherwise you will not be able to do. The moment you are seeing your child is doing wrong, you are getting agitated. So you will not be able to. So first practice yourself, the manaprasadaha, saumyatvam. And then try to approach through the knowledge point of view. And tell whatever it is worth, then finally leave it to them, whether they do or not. The second point, very important, not for your children, because children you are always loving. If it is others whom you want to correct, first own them up. Out of love you can say, not as a correction thrown into somebody. Even if it is boss or employee or anybody, first we have to own them up, make our own, and then suggest the correction humbly, with humility, not with ego. Then it will work. Definitely it will work.
So how do we practice?
Do this and practice, what else? There is no how, you have to do it. It is not easy. I have found that if that child is doing something wrong, it won't click in your mind easily that what is to be said. When I am saying from the wisdom, you have to give some time and think about it, and then the solution will come to your mind. That what should I suggest in such a case?
We have to have that patience.
Case to case you have to treat, you have to have a very placid mind to do it. You have to have an open mind. So there lies the difficulty. And the last thing is that whatever we do, children will take it up. We don't have to teach them actually. For the parents, it like osmosis, it flows to them. We don't have to really do anything. They may not realize it happens unawares. Later on they will realize that all these qualities have come from my parents.
Good and bad.
Both will be there. Bad qualities anybody would like to correct?
No.
One person had 2 sons, and this father was given to drinking, means getting completely drunk. So seeing his behavior at home, so magic. Seeing his behavior, one son promised vowed that I will never touch liquor. Seeing the father. Another son was given to drinking and used to say that my father was always drinking. I have also learned like that. What can I do? I am also drinking. The choice is ours. Whether the bad qualities we will take and say that it is my parents' qualities, or we will take it as a lesson and correct it or not. Was it a good discussion? Yes. Very good, I am happy. What?
So when you started your career and you were in IIT Kharagpur and doing a physician and like a scientist or whatever,
I am not able to hear.
when you were in IIT Kharagpur and then you're doing your scientist research and everything, and when you came back to a spiritual life, did you ever try to go back, or what pulled you to this life at that point?
No. Go back to the scientist life you are asking?
Yeah.
No, actually it is the other way. I was born spiritual. My memory goes back to the age of 3, 4 or so, or 5 you can say. When we changed our house, I still remember I am walking on the road and thinking about the creation and all. I was 5 years old at that time. So I was spiritual, born spiritual. Everything, if there is, if you call it credit, it goes to my parents and grandparents and grandparents also. So the thought about spiritual sadhana, spirituality has been growing even in school days also fully. So that went on further engulfing me wholesomely, etc. And because of my inquiry, I love to study physics also. Because physics inquires in the objective world, but the logical thinking and everything, it is not different from spirituality. The only difference is the physics eliminates the subject right in the beginning. It is called the fundamental postulate of science. Whereas in spirituality, first we analyze and see that if there is any absolute truth or ultimate truth, it cannot be in the world because of the logical impossibility. So we look into then what is other than the world is the subject which is revealing the world. And they go into the subject and discover the truth. So my physics and my spirituality went hand in hand. It was never contradictory. It was always complementary. I still remember after appearing for the higher secondary school exam, 12th class exam, there would be a gap of about 3 months before we joined the college. That was the time I used to sit on a chair in our lawn or on a mat on our lawn and read Feynman lectures in physics. Those days it was very new, it had just arrived. And the joy I used to get from that is same as sort of spiritual joy, because it will make everything one. That in the depth of the knowledge there, I was thinking that our teachers have not taught us properly. So, the Feynman lectures taught us what was really to be done. I cannot differentiate it from spiritual practice at all. And I was equally given to spirituality even those days. Then I did my studies and completed my studies. Even while doing the research also, by that time I have already got initiated into Brahma Vidya. That I went to Baba and got initiated just in the beginning of the research. And that was the time I was fully given to sadhana. For at least for about an year, I don't know exactly, 8 months or 1 year or whatever. I was completely immersed in sadhana. When everybody would go away from the department, I would sit at the veranda there. And the best of the experiences I had there, sitting in the department when everybody has gone away in the evening. Even when I'm going to the bus stand, I still remark, some of our friends will say that your face is shining like a sun. They did not know what has happened. I knew what had happened at that time. So it used to give me so much of fulfillment, joy and whatnot, the experiences. So like that, I did my PhD, but did it in a completely surrendered manner. So within 6 months of my joining the subject, PhD, it was not a course, it was independent research. My guide left and went to Canada. He said that you also come to Canada. It did not happen. So, and that was a subject where no second person was working there. So I had to do it alone. In a way, it was very tough. I always say that any research student would always, even if the guide is very good, they have the tendency to blame the guide, that the guide doesn't look after me. It's a common thing. Even if I have guided somebody also, they must have told about me. So, in my case, I never blamed guide at all. I was working in my own manner. And you know what I was doing? It was huge simultaneous, very big simultaneous equations. I was just finding beauty in it, trying to discover some harmony and beauty in it. That was my play with the research, nothing else. One day I found that they have taken a beautiful form. What is the numerator is the derivative of the denominator. F dash by F, something like that. So I thought that it is a great thing, that it means an optimum, either a maxima or a minima. So I just kept it there. The main thing did not strike me. Guide did his job. When he saw it, he said that it is done. Our purpose is done. The equations show that they cannot have an analytical solution, because the number of equations, if you increase, the number of unknowns goes on increasing more than that. So no analytical solution possible. That we knew right in the beginning. But this optima shows that there can be a numerical solution. You put it in the computer and trace the maxima, minima and apply it. So what I wanted to say here is that it was a surrendered work. I never worried about whether I will get PhD or not. Never thought about that, whether I will get the degree or not, or how many years it will take, nothing. I was simply playing with the equations and finding out, trying to beautify them. As you beautify your face, I was beautifying the equations. And the solution came just like that. Then, because of that work, I was called to IIT Kharagpur. That is how I landed there. Otherwise, I was not an engineer. And it went on. Now, everything in nature, if we are sincere, given to a pursuit, then nature comes with much more of help. Our going to that Kharagpur it was more an ashram than even our ashram. It was such a peaceful place and completely throughout the day. And it so happened that within 1 year, one sannyasin from Rishikesh came down to there, and he was working in IIT Kharagpur earlier. So he had his group and he started taking Upanishadic class. So every morning, early morning, go there, attend the class, come back, take breakfast and run to the institute. And again evening go there and serve him a little. So it became a very, very devoted spiritual practice, Upanishadic practice in a way, you can say. And then that is the time our Swamiji visited us there. And he said that, I think you should come. Then we went there at one time for visiting for 15 days. He said that you should come. Then again, after 6 months, again the first time we visited was in 1986 May, second time we visited was 1986 December, and we permanently left and joined the ashram in 1987 May. It took 1 year. And that happened very strangely. In 1987 February, when Swamiji was going to Jamshedpur for his Jnana Yajna, the regular speech, every year he used to come. He stayed for one or two nights in our quarter in IIT Kharagpur. When he was going, we were locking the house and coming with Swamiji. So Swamiji looked at us and said that it has never happened in my life that when I am going, somebody is coming to see me off, they are locking their house and coming to see me off. So it happened exactly that. He went to Jamshedpur, and that was the time we took a decision also that we'll leave. So it is a natural progression, and never, my scientific has never contradicted this. There are many other very interesting episodes which I have sometimes told in our Gita Satsang that every week we have about the past life and all. It's very interesting how the naturally a sadhana grows. Satisfied? Okay. Shall we stop or anything else is there? And another 5-10 minutes we can spend, there's no problem. Huh? I have taken dinner and come, so I have no hurry.
As a scientist, how do you deal with negation and validation in the subjective world?
Negation?
And validation in the subjective world.
No, there is no negation or invalidation.
Now, when you're trying to realize what's true and what's not,
Hmm.
when you're introspecting on the subjective world, how do you reconcile that with your...
No, it is only we know that how our perception is. Go deep into the process of perception and understanding the truth of it. Nothing has to be negated as such. And it is fully experiential also.
So each person's experience can be different.
No, it not, because suppose in science, the repeatability comes from you can do the experiment again and again with the object, is it not? Or different objects also. And when it is repeatable, you understand that it's okay, you accept it. In this case, the subject of investigation is not the object but the subject, is it not? That what I am. So here, the experimentation is for one full life. That is, each person can do the experiment and find out for himself what is the truth. It has to be a first-hand experience. Now, the question is that we have the Shastras where all have recorded. These Upanishads are supposed to be the record of whatever the truth they saw. It's not composed by anybody. Vedas are not composed by anybody. I am not speaking about the Karma Kanda, but the Upanishad, the Vedanta part, the last of the Vedas, it is all a revelation, we say, not a composed anything. So when we first read, actually many things, many of the truths it will not come to our notice. Even Bhagavad Gita also. But when you have the first-hand experience, then you can find out the confirmation there. Oh, acha, this is what it means. This is what it is meant there. Like any Shastras, that is how the Shastras are still valid and remaining. Suppose it was not like that, then this unknown prehistoric Shastras would not have remained now. Because era to era, some people at least have done the redone the experiment for their life and confirmed it, reinterpreted it in their own manner. Suppose the way I am interpreting, it is what will be acceptable to the present audience, is it not? Because it's a scientific world, and it is, for me it is easy because I myself have gone deep into physics, so I can explain in that manner. All will not be able to. They may not, but the fact is that whatever their experience, that truth remains. So this record in the Upanishads, it has been examined, re-examined, reconfirmed from era to era over these thousands and thousands of years. There lies the confirmation. And for a personal life, the confirmation comes from the Guru also. That when you are having it, you want not the Shastras only to confirm. The person who is instructing you, he also has to confirm it. The actualization of it, it depends quite a large on the Guru also. Sometimes it may not be there, sometimes it will be different. You take initiation and go away from the Guru, you may not live with the Guru. But when there is a scope of living with the Guru, then things become very easy and the qualities, they all flow, as I said, like osmosis. When unawares they come, many of the things. Because suppose somebody has the Vairagya. What is the Vairagya, meaning of Vairagya? Vairagya means, the closest example is the space, which never gets affected by anything. It is all the more in the case of consciousness. It reveals everything, sukha, dukkha, impurity, criminality, sainthood, everything it is revealing, but not getting changed by anything at all. Now, that Vairagya, when it is expressed through a person's personality, then it has its powers. That is, those who are close to that person, they will automatically influenced by that sky-like dimension or spatial dimension. That is how the qualities flow unawares. That many people have said also, when even not in IIT, much before that, when we were in Calcutta, I still remember, that they used to come to our drawing room and sit for 1 hour or so and go, that we feel peaceful here. That touch of Vairagya, that Vairagya.
Swamiji,
Mm-hmm.
my salutations to the holy feet, Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. My question is, who am I? Is it the I that is in you and in me the same? And the manifested I that is in this.
I explained it in the beginning itself.
Yeah. So how does this I transform itself in the Jagratas, Sushupti?
No. The I never changes. The concept of the real identity I, the Atma, is that it cannot change. It is not in the objective field to show any change or growth, or it is never born, it is never dying, never changing at all. But what is changing is our body, mind, personalities, different states. But that is how, because we are associating our I with the body, mind, personality, it has an egoistic, limited picture of the I we have. The whole spirituality is to go from that small I to the universal, unchanging, immortal I. That is what spiritual pursuit is. From the body-mind limited small I, we have to go to the capital S self, which is same as Brahman, which is the consciousness, you can say, in which the whole universe is appearing to be. Universe is appearing in that consciousness. So the fundamental material of the universe is also consciousness there, although it is not a material, of course.
So the mind plays a different, in these three avasthas, Jagrata, Sushupti and Swapnavastha, the mind is in a different state. So the experiences of in each avastha is very different. Which one should I think is a real avastha?
No, none of them are real. That I is the real, which is undergoing the passing through the three avasthas. They are all unreal in the sense that they are changing. You know that there in this it is there, the other it is not there. The constant element is the I there. All the three places, I is still there.
We feel in all these three stages,
we feel the I is getting changed, but that is not the truth. So we have to discover that I, either through knowledge or through samadhi, you have to get the experience of it.
Thank you, Namaste.
What is your name? Rajesh. What is your name? Vinay. Shall we stop? Shloka? You mean I have to chant something? Then let us chant Akashavallapa Vidura Goham. You can follow me. I will half line I will chant. Try to do in the same scale, same tune. Then only it will be harmonious. Akashavallapa Vidura Goham. Can you show it there? It is there. Then they can find it easy. Is it there? Yes. Go to the chanting section. Song of the Soul. You see the Song of the Soul? You see me? Song of the Soul. Or leave it, let us do. Let's leave it. Akashavallapa Vidura Goham.
Akashavallapa Vidura Goham.
Adityavat Bhasya Vilakshanoham.
Adityavat Bhasya Vilakshanoham.
Aharyavan Nitya Vinishchaloham.
Aharyavan Nitya Vinishchaloham.
Ambodhivat par vivarjitoham.
Ambodhivat par vivarjitoham.
Akashavallapa Vidura Goham.
Akashavallapa Vidura Goham.
Adityavat Bhasya Vilakshanoham.
Adityavat Bhasya Vilakshanoham.
Aharyavan Nitya Vinishchaloham.
Aharyavan Nitya Vinishchaloham.
Ambodhivat paravivarjitoham.
Ambodhivat paravivarjito
Ambodhivat paravivarjitoham.
Ambodhivat paravivarjito
Hari Om. That's the meaning was there? No. Translation जरा दिखा दो थोड़ा. बड़ा करके. Like the space, untainted am I. Like the sun, self-revealing am I, self-brilliance, self-brilliant am I. Like the mountain, unshakable I am. Like the ocean, boundless am I. This is